I'd like to bring in Ric Grenell, former director of national intelligence under Donald Trump and future who knows what in the next Trump administration. Ric, welcome back. Lidia and I here. What do you make of all this? What's your reaction?
Well, look, as a diplomat, let's just be clear. This is a failure of diplomacy. We have failed to diplomatically solve a problem. What's clear to me, too, is that we have funded this war. Donald Trump had made Iran broke. We isolated them. We rallied the world. We had worldwide sanctions on their oil and other products. Joe Biden released the sanctions. He gave them credit and cash to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars. And so this war that we are now worried about, we're watching and we're participating in, we actually, as American taxpayers, helped fund it. Joe Biden's policies are literally causing more war. Donald Trump's policies, well, as you know, we had peace between the Arabs and the Israelis.
You know, at this point, Ric Grenell, it just seems to me that Joe Biden was begging Iran, oh, please, don't hurt us, you know, don't do anything. And at this point, they waited 6 days almost. Was he hoping that they would just go away quietly and not do anything anymore if we just kept giving them more cash? Is it indecisiveness? Is this willful ignorance by the Biden administration?
Look, the opposite of America First is consensus with the Europeans. And the Europeans have always wanted us to engage with Iran. They did not like when we were isolating Iran. They believed, and many Democrats believed, that engagement with the Iranians would produce an Iranian regime that somehow was a responsible member of the international community. So they engaged with them, and that's why they did this thing called the JCPOA, which was an Iran deal that Obama started. We got out of that deal, and we said, look, you're never going to convince this radical regime to do the right thing. You've got to isolate them. And so what's been really clear is that Joe Biden doesn't know how to do either policy. He was asked at the White House just a couple of days ago, do you blame Iran for this? And Joe Biden's response was, well, I know that they funded it. There's only one answer. Yes, I blame Iran. And when the regime sees Joe Biden hedge and not blame them, they love it, and it's going to get worse.
Ric, why don't you think this happened earlier? I mean, we've been on the receiving end of attacks for a long time. They have about 10,000 military planners over at the Pentagon. This is the kind of thing they could have pulled the trigger on right away. What did they gain by waiting several days?
Look, I have no idea. They certainly weren't waiting for diplomacy, which is usually the course of action, is that you wait because you're doing diplomatic activity. You're hopeful that you can solve these problems without having, a military action or war. And yet what we really saw is the Biden team just talk about military actions. The other thing that we did, which is like crazy to me, is we messaged that we were coming to take military action. The element of surprise was completely taken off the table by Joe Biden. That seems crazy.
It does seem completely unusual, and also the fact that they waited almost a week. And you remember, obviously, you would know this, in 2019, Trump he was decisive in his action when Iran killed a U.S. contractor, and they kept coming after us. He got a lot of criticism, a lot of blowback when he killed, of course, General Soleimani, the #1 terrorist at the time. And Joe Biden, his weakness on the world stage, it continues to put our country in peril, especially with our open southern border.
Well, the one thing that I loved about serving Donald Trump is that he is an outsider. He's not the typical government official. And so he looks at all the tools that we have in the U.S. government, whether they be sanctions or isolation or military action or tough diplomacy, tariffs, all of the things that you can do to solve problems. He would use them. And he was very, I would say, inconsistent in how he would use them with different countries, which created this credibility. Many countries believed that there was a credible threat of military action, a credible threat of sanctions. Donald Trump would do it. And that's why we had behavior change. And that's why we had peace between the Arabs and the Israelis and not wars.
He would do it. Joe Biden says don't do it, and they do it. Well, we appreciate it so much, Ric Grenell. To be continued. Many, many thanks.